We can't embody if we're not in our bodies. So that is part of the inspiration for body language, is that all the answers that you need are in here, not necessarily in your mind. And I see that's the biggest challenge with women is we learn so much. And even on a spiritual path, our egos can use spirituality against us. And a lot of it's still coming from the mind, when we need to really be connected more with our heart, more with our passion, what lights us up, our gut, our instincts, what makes us feel turned on, adventurous.
Hello, you beautiful, stunning souls. Welcome to another phenomenal conversation on the School of Becoming podcast. When I tell you I have magic in the room with me, I'm like losing my mind already, because I am sitting with a woman who I deeply, deeply love and deeply, deeply admire, whose brain, heart, creativity is second to none. The one and only Julie Cabezas, the multi-million-dollar creative, world-renowned brand expert, copywriter to the stars, co-founder of Self-Made, one of my best friends, and truly one of the most intelligent, intentional women in this entire game. She has studied every methodology. She has mastered the strategies. She has built extraordinary success. And yet there was still something missing, which brought her to me. So before we go any deeper, let me welcome to the stage the one and only Julie Cabezas. Hello,
Tracy. I'm so excited to be with you today.
Me too.
So excited.
Me too. In the green room, you guys, we like warmed up our vocal cords. We talked about how much we loved each other, all the things that you do in a green room, before an official interview. So let's just dive right in. Cool?
Yes, let's do it.
So before you tapped into our work together, right? Because we've actually, I'm just going to say it this way, like we've had the good fortune of not only creating an extraordinary friendship, but we have also been each other's clients, which I think is super cool and gives us like such a unique perspective, right? On the depths of one another and the impact that we're here to make. But before you tapped into working with me and working inside the School of Becoming, what was happening in your life and business?
Yeah, it was so fun to reminisce about this, because I believe it was 2021 when we met.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been 2020, 2021. I was on this meteoric rise to like the top of my career at the time. I was winning. I was thriving. I was excited about life. I was traveling the world. Like I was just having the best time. And you and I met, and it was like an explosion of creativity and love and new ideas. And I just was in a really great place in my life. And I felt like meeting you really spoke to where I was at in life, because you attract the people you're ready for,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I don't think I've ever told you this before, grabbing a tissue.
Okay.
My spiritual mentor had passed away very shortly before meeting you. And she actually had your same birthday.
God.
Yeah, it was really, really special. So I remember like thinking her name was Marcy. And I was like, she knew I needed a Taurus in my life. You guys have very similar energetic profiles. So it was just like this gorgeous, perfect, time and space.
I love that. And thank you, Marcy, because Marcy clearly had a hand in thrusting us together. So
totally.
I love that. I mean, yeah, that's like you guys, there's certain things that you just can't make up. And then, there's always a part of the humanness and the beautiful protectiveness of our ego that no matter how much we believe and no matter how aligned we are and no matter how firm we are in knowing that we are energetic beings and oneness is what's real, there tends to be this little like film of skepticism that can come up. But then there are moments like this where you're like, I'm sorry, you can't make this up and you can't skepticize this away. This is real.
100%. 100%.
Yes. So you also, and I remember because we talked about this, like you have done all the things, like all the spiritual work, all the personal development work, been there, done that, have the t-shirt.
Yeah.
What still felt incomplete that then, outside of our friendship and relationship, you're like, okay, I'm going to come into the school and become a client. Like,
yeah.
What were you missing?
Yeah. Well, when you and I met, I had done about 12 years of spiritual, like consciousness work. So the primary focus of it was to raise your vibrational frequency to such a level that the belief is that with enough people on the planet at a high level of consciousness, it will shift the darkness on the planet. It will eliminate, poverty and lack and, all of these things that are on our planet that are impacting our, our collective humanity. So I deeply believed in that. And a lot of it was focused on meditation. It was focused on deconditioning your patterns, your negative beliefs about yourself. It was about integrating a very high frequency of love and bliss and belief in the goodness of humanity. And it was incredible. Like, it was just such an incredible time in my life. And I felt like I had embodied that at such a level that I was just like beaming. I was alive. I felt really, really good. When I met you, what I realized was kind of like the embodiment of it in a three-dimensional world was where I was lacking, like where I wanted more. I didn't really feel like I was missing, but what I realized was I have these big dreams, these big visions, and I had architected a world where I was just kind of floating above everybody. I was like I was connecting and I was like loving and meeting and, impacting people, but I wasn't really there because I didn't know how to interface with people at different levels of consciousness, I felt like people wouldn't understand, or they would feel like I was on some kind of a high horse, or that my vibration would be impacted if I was like getting too close to people. So I had a lot of walls up, and I realized in meeting you that I had sort of architected my reality to be separate from people. And when I met you, you were just like such a real raw person, and you were with the people. Like, you were literally hugging everybody, embracing everybody, bringing people together. Like, you were with people who you could tell had never done one day of personal development in their life, and people who were like light years ahead of even you. You were just with people so effortlessly. And I wanted that. I wanted to not only like become a leader and really build something important that would help impact the world, but I wanted to feel like I was with the people again and like have real relationships.
Yeah. I love what you're articulating, because it is a theme that deserves to be discussed more and more. Because if what's the use of becoming enlightened, right? Or elevating your consciousness and living in bliss and radiance, if in order to do so, you have to keep yourself separate from the very third dimensional world that you have to like put your feet on the ground and you have to walk, right? And we're interacting with people. So it's such an interesting thing. It's like, why monks go live alone, right? Not
100%.
everybody can go live on the top of a mountain somewhere and not engage with society, especially when you're someone like you or me that has a huge call, that has a massive contribution to make. You're not making that contribution by your energy alone, vibrating on your mountain by yourself. It's how we end up co-regulating and co-resonating, and how amazing it is to be a highly conscious woman, no matter where you are. Right? It's like whether you're in a highly conscious environment, or you're in a not so highly conscious environment, or you're with somebody who, can like go right there with you into the quantum field and all those things, or someone who it hasn't experienced that level of awakening yet. Right? Like, to me, the contribution is because we know how to be highly conscious, no matter what the level of consciousness the environment we're in is. Did that make sense?
Yes, 100%. And like you said, in the old days, anyone who wanted to reach a higher state of enlightenment would go out into the desert, into the mountains, into the, foothills or whatever, and be alone, because they could access those states much easier that way. And for me, I realized I want to engage with people. I want to build a company. I want to impact people around the world. And in order to do that, I need to be more comfortable and more masterful in that arena. So,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you.
It's so good. Thank you. Thank you. There's like 1,000 different directions I want to take this conversation, but here's where I'm going to go next, because you and I have talked about how much has shifted for you in terms of your relationship with fear since coming into the work in the school. Right. And I
Yes.
love it because you have been now through the choice method, through neuroidentity evolution, right? It used to be called mind magic. Now it's called becoming. Live events like capacity, right? So how has your relationship shifted with fear since
Hmm.
we started doing this?
Yeah. Well, fear. So my experience in the early days of like what I learned before I met you was that it all boils down to expansion and resistance. So you feel resistance on something when you judge it as negative, bad, wrong. And so I could always become aware of those resistances as I encountered them, and I would be dissolving them to move through. But what I noticed was that there were some flavors of fear, which is resistance, that were completely invisible to me, that I never had really noticed were present. And those were procrastination, boredom, and some kind of a like despondent, nothing really matters anyway, kind of an identity that I would get into. It's very like, good night, cruel world. Like, you
I
know,
might as well just lay down.
let's address this in our next lifetime,
Yeah.
And I realized that especially the boredom, that was the biggest one for me. Like I would consistently notice feeling just a boredom in life.
Mhm.
And not like I don't have anything to do, just like this experience of life feels boring. And what I noticed, what I realized through that, our work together, is that that is fear, that is resistance. And it's whenever I'm procrastinating or feeling bored, I know exactly how to go in and work with that, clear it out. Because ultimately, if I'm feeling bored, it's because I'm avoiding all of these big, scary, exciting, important, amazing adventures and tasks that I could be doing that would like completely obliterate that boredom. And why am I not taking those actions? It's fear underneath the surface. So fear is present anytime you are not doing the thing that you want to be doing, not taking the action, not making the big moves that you want to be making. And what I realized was that no matter how high levels of bliss and expansion and love that we're feeling in our lives, we are still taking this animal body with us. This body is an animal. 300,000 years ago, I think is when Homo sapiens began. And this body is always calculating risk. Am I safe? Is this person going to take my land, take my food, take my partner? The body is just in that state and we have to bring it with us. Whether you call it ego or whatever, we have to bring our human with us. And so a lot of my challenges I realized with fear and other things really were related more to my animal nature and not my highest consciousness.
Mhm.
And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck. They think if I'm fit and I have a lot of money in the bank and I look amazing and I have all the Botox and I have this and I have the partner and the power couple and I have a charity, ultimately like I'm going to be like incredible and untouchable and happy. And you can't control your way there. You can't get there that way. Like it's never going to work.
Yeah.
You have to surrender, let go, and really work with your fear and your
Mhm.
human.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes. It's like, because the foundational scientific truth, right, that we subscribe to, and that is the baseline of everything that comes out of the school, is you are a spiritual, energetic being having a human experience. And when you learn that, more often than not, you're actually just being a little too human, typically, right? Or you didn't take a moment to enter into your humanness and allow the animal to rage, roar, release, process, be witnessed, right? Like, it really, I perceive, and I'm curious what you would say to me about this, because, as the founder, as the teacher, as the person who lives it so much, like, I perceive it's quite simple,
Mm-hmm.
theoretically. It's like quite simple conceptually, right? Like, if you can feel safe to work at the level of your body consistently, as in feel what needs to be felt when it's asking to be felt, keep your shit like a self-cleaning oven, keep it clean, keep it clear, then you're then aware and regulated enough to operate from a higher level of consciousness where you can play in enlightenment and you can play in full trust and authenticity and deep, deep oneness and connection, right? And that, like brass tacks, that's the game.
Totally. Yes. And a lot of the things, the reason that we don't is because we resist our younger archetypes. We think it's bad. Like you and I talk about all the time. Like I needed a full on temper tantrum today. I needed to cry my eyes out. I needed a snack and a nap. And we think, no, we're older than that. We're better than that. We're more evolved than that. Like we shouldn't have to cry about this. This isn't, all the things we were told as kids, and really we do. We really have to take care and tend to those younger archetypes that are exhausted and overwhelmed and afraid when we're saying we're going to go like do a TED talk. That's scary.
Yes, 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 yes. And what just came through me on what you just said is, and typically it's not even doing what we would do when we were little because so many of us didn't get to feel safe enough to tantrum, to process,
True,
to
very
fully
true.
feel. So what we're actually doing, which is part of like my soapbox of it's your divine moral responsibility to come and work on yourself, right? It's also what all the younger versions of you deserve, the ones that didn't get to say fuck you and the ones that didn't get to process and the ones that didn't get to be heard because we were so silenced because the people that raised us loved them, but they were unhealed. It's not their fault. It just was what it was. So in so many of our instances, we get to do what you were just saying because we're like doing it on behalf of all of those earlier iterations that never had a shot to do it.
Yeah. So good. And it's so freeing. I mean, my mom, I think she's 77 right now, and she was sharing a little bit. She was feeling stressed about something. And I'm like, maybe you should have a temper tantrum. And she was like, oh, I can do that? Like, that sounds amazing. Like, it's not how old you are. We can start this at any time.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it's so good. Okay. So you've had like your evolution is extraordinary, right? And you're always evolving because we know this. It's an ing process, right? Like it's not evolved or empowered or healed. It's like a gorgeous, it's a breathing thing.
Yes.
How have you changed? Like what has gone on for you through the course of the evolutionary work we've done together? Like where are you now? What's different?
So the biggest thing that I have focused on, I think it's been almost a year. So I actually know it's going to be a year in April since I did Mind Magic, the live event. And I wrote my letter to you, which is my vision letter. And the biggest thing that I've been focused on is instead of accommodating, I became so spacious and so like unattached that I was just like, oh, this person is doing this. This person needs this. It was like I was constantly just accommodating everything in my space. And that left me feeling kind of like bitter and empty and just blah. And I've really changed to focusing on self-referral first. Like, what do I need? What are my needs met? What do I want in this situation? What is my preference? And really creating from that space first. Because when it's cliche and true, when my cup is full and I'm like satisfied and well fed and, rested and all these things, like I will have all of this greatness to share with others. So that is the main thing. And it sounds simple, but when I really realized, I think it was at capacity where I really started to recognize I had these huge dreams. And then I realized I had architected my reality to be very like controlled and safe and unattached to all of this craziness in the world. And when I realized, okay, in order to get to this next level, I have to break that whole structure. But can I hold it? And looking at, you don't really have to hold anything. Like that was the big awareness that I had at capacity. You just need to experience it, be willing to experience at every level. I was like, okay, I'm willing to experience. I'm willing to open. Now I'm really building from what is my preference, what is my desire, and integrating the leadership lessons along the way, really stepping into. And I think that's my next level is like really practicing being a leader and being that combination of like loving, want the best for you, and this is where we're going. And I think that's the differentiator between you and a lot of other teachers, you know, let's just say teachers for now. A lot of teachers focus on that bliss and expansion and the satisfaction and the peace, but nothing's really getting done. There's not businesses being built. People aren't being impacted, you know, like the ripple isn't there because there's not a focus on results and getting shit done. And we need both. We need to feel amazing and like experience our lives. And we also want what we want and we want to get things done. So it's really about that next level leadership for me. It's about it creating with others in the collective and doing things a lot more according to my preference and less according to the people around me and what they need.
First of all, like brava. Okay. Okay. Because it is not small. Round of applause. It is not small. It is huge. It is essential when we move into this space where we stop abandoning and betraying ourselves for the accommodation, accessibility, validation, likability from others and of others, right? We are either choosing our comfort or somebody else's in many instances, not always, but sometimes. And what you said about like, I check in, you said self-referral, which I've never actually heard you say it that way. And that's really awesome. Like, oh, I have needs and I'm going to make sure that my priority is what are those needs and how do I get them met? And sometimes it is us meeting our own needs. Sometimes it's the love and honoring of ourselves enough to go, ooh, I know who can meet this need. Let me reach out to this friend. Let me ask my partner, right? Because as a sovereign woman, right? Like real agency, and that's sexy shit. That's power, right? Like Wonder Woman stance, get away from me with that. But you want to talk to me about power, like agency and sovereignty. It's like, hello, I have needs. I understand that you can't fill from an empty bucket and you've got to put your oxygen mask on first. And we can't just keep saying that. Everyone who's listening to me right now, nothing makes me crazier and rantier than having to have this conversation. Like how many more times, right? So the fact that that's where you are because it is the next evolution, because it's your power source. It's your fuel. So then you can tap, and you're already like an insanely talented creative, but look how much more creativity is coming out of you because you're not depleted and you're not accommodating. So I'm not letting this moment feel like, oh, it's small or micro, because it's not. It's only that way because we live in this world where it's like, oh, we should talk about some 8-figure launch and that's going to blow everyone's fucking socks off. But like, I'm done with that too, right? What's the biggest flex? The biggest flex is what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's energetic. The biggest flex is energy.
And coming into your own
alignment,
love of yourself, honoring of yourself, operating from your wholeness, realizing that your validation isn't coming from outside of you and who you be for others, but rather how you be in relationship with you. That's sexy.
Yeah.
That's sexy.
100%.
So tell me and tell all these gorgeous people. So like in this evolution of you, what is the next evolution of what you're working on? This gorgeous Substack, like what's next? Tell us the things.
Yeah. Yeah. So my focus is evolving to support creatives in living a more creative life, in accessing their gifts on a deeper level, which will definitely include nervous system work. You know, it's going to include all the things. But what I notice is that there are a lot of people who follow the template through their lives, including me. And we think certain things are important and other things aren't. We think certain careers make money and other things don't. And what I truly believe is that every person is creative. We're just using different mediums, and being true to yourself is the fastest access to your self-expression, to life-changing creative works. I'm getting more involved in the art world. I'm getting more involved with business owners who just feel like I've followed the coaching templates. I followed the business archetype templates, and I'm just not feeling fully self-expressed. So self-made is always going to be about helping creatives, coaches, service providers to own their value and to make the money that they want to make. But I'm adding this piece of creativity and self-expression because that is the access to your own template. It's the access to your own way of doing things. And we're evolving beyond this cookie cutter business world where it's like, well, 6 months of coaching is 5K and it's a weekly call and you have a Voxer group. And, like just a lot of those things are just kind of, they're unspoken. We don't even realize it's a template that we're following. And yet, in some ways it can limit us. So the Substack is my newest publication. It's going to be a series of weekly articles that help you tap into your creativity. I got my first paid subscriber, which was the most exciting thing in the world. It was amazing. Shout out to Kamala. And it's just amazing because it's the next evolution of me. And I need to continue evolving and sharing so that others do the same.
I love that. I love it. You're shining like the disco ball.
Yeah.
You're in the disco ball effect.
You taught me this phrase, we can't embody if we're not in our bodies. So that is part of the inspiration for body language, is that all the answers that you need are in here, not necessarily in your mind. And I see that's the biggest challenge with women is we learn so much. And even on a spiritual path, our egos can use spirituality against us, right? Can be like, but you're not doing this, you're not doing that. And a lot of it's still coming from the mind when we need to really be connected more with our heart, more with our passion, what lights us up, our gut, our instincts, what makes us feel turned on, adventurous. So all of those things are it's going to be pretty good. Edgier, taboo, more for people who want to push their edges a little more.
Yeah. Well, what was coming through for me, which was a sensation, was sensuality, right? Like sensuality is really simply the ability to sense. It's sensual sensing. And in order to have sensations and to be able to perceive and feel sensation, you have to be in your body.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. You guys, of course, we're going to put everything about Julie in the show notes, but I just have to tell you, you need to go. I am a subscriber. I'm subscribed. I read the piece that came out this morning and it's just so great. And you are so embodied, and your sensuality, your confidence, your creativity just pours through, like especially in the energy of this new iteration here, the Substack thing, like it's special body language, right? You said it's body language.
Yes.
So good. So good. Okay. So I have just one final thing that I would love to give you the mic on, but I'm actually going to ask you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable so we can drop into a delicious space. And then I'm going to give you the prompt and give you the mic. So let's take a deep breath, everyone collectively together, taking a deep breath in through the nose. And slowly letting it out however it feels good. And one more time in through the nose. And letting it out however it feels good. And beautiful, beautiful Julie, I want you to imagine that every female founder across the globe is listening in right now. She's attentive, she's ready, she's hanging on to the words that you're going to speak to her. You have 30 seconds and a megaphone. What do you need her to hear?
Wow. You're divine. You are important. You are special. There's no one like you on the planet, and there never will be. Everything you do is right. And just go out there and live it. Be it. Do what you know is right for you, and you will never go wrong.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm saying thank you for every listener right now that's like, oh my God, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for gracing us with your energy and your brilliance and your beauty and your creativity. I'm deeply, deeply grateful.
Thank you.
Where is the best place for everyone to go hang out with you outside of all the links I'm going to put in the show notes?
Yeah. Well, if you're interested in branding and copywriting or increasing your selling skills, go to selfmadesales.com. And if you want to explore your creativity and your creative edges, go to substack.com /@ Julie C. Cabezas.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm going to put that in the show notes. And beautiful, beautiful souls. If anything in this conversation activated something inside of you, you felt yourself open or exhale, hearing what's possible, then it's time to shift your relationship with fear. It's time to step into the work with us and start becoming. And the doors are officially open to becoming. So it used to be mind magic. It has now evolved into becoming. And for the first and only time, I'm going to be teaching it live. So becoming is our 90-day neuroidentity evolution experience. And in this particular cohort, you get me teaching all the modules live, in addition to Amanda, our director of coaching, doing the integration calls. And you are finally going to align your biology, your identity, your leadership, being the fullest expression of yourself and making your highest contribution to the world, all while finally feeling great. So you can click the link in the show notes and enroll. And I can't wait to see you inside. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, remember, there is always more love. Bye.